Washington, D.C. The air feels heavy around the Heritage Foundation. Protesters line up along Massachusetts Avenue, their signs held high like bright punctuation marks against the dull gray of the building's facade. Rows of officers line the curb, silent, unmoving, as their neon vests flicker in the light. And like clockwork, every Monday at 4 p.m. sharp, music begins to blast from the Heritage Foundation speakers. The protesters answer back immediately. Voices rise, chants sharpen, and the battle for our democracy begins again this week. I move through the crowd slowly, letting the camera guide my steps. I watch, I listen, I document. I let their stories find me. A young farming couple stands shoulder to shoulder, veterans fighting not just for the country they served, but for their livelihood. Their "Fuck Trump" signs cut through the noise as they demand accountability from the workers spilling out of the building's parking lot.
Why are you ruining our country?
A woman in a Guy Fawkes mask stands at the edge of the crowd, her eyes locked on the Heritage Foundation doors. Around her, the noise swells. Drums, megaphones, voices cracking from hours of shouting. Project 25 isn't just policy. It's a manifesto, a blueprint to dismantle democratic programs and embrace the rights that generations fought to secure. And it's being written by the same circles that have spent years normalizing white nationalism, authoritarian control, and the idea that power belongs only to the few.
But because I watched Barack Obama win in this building, that was sort of the beginning of that insanity. And we've lived through that fever dream for the last 10 years, haven't we? With some of those cultural poisons that he foisted upon our nation.
Protesters cluster together on the sidewalk. Most of them strangers, but they all have the same purpose. One hands out water bottles. Another passes around a megaphone. Their cries crack through the air in fierce unison and purpose. This is the sound of people refusing to go quietly. Traffic crawls behind them. Drivers lift their phones to record. Some honk in support. Others roll up their windows. My camera catches the little details. Megaphones, Guy Fawkes masks, middle fingers, cracked voices, determined eyes. In Washington, D.C., a city where the nation's decisions are made behind polished doors and marble walls, there is a deeper truth humming beneath the protests. The people who live in the city have no full vote, no real autonomy over the system that shapes their lives, yet they still show up, day after day, week after week. They stand at the gates of power because if they cannot shape the system from inside, they will confront it from the streets. Their presence is its own defiance. It is a persistent reminder that democracy just isn't confined to buildings. It is alive out there, in the hands of the people who refuse to be ignored. I keep shooting, documenting not just what is happening, but the feeling of being here, the rippling energy, the edge between order and upheaval, the conviction that fills the air. In the middle of it, a woman approaches the front in red. In front of her, the columns of the Heritage Foundation stand tall, unmoved. But behind her, hundreds of people refuse to be still. In that moment, I lower the camera, just to breathe, just to witness. Because some days, the story isn't in the headlines, it's in the faces, in the hands gripping signs, in the collective insistence that someone will listen. And here outside the Heritage Foundation, that insistence is undeniable.